let's jump into this training, guys. And, we always talk about trading and investing and business and all that. But the reality is that 80% of your success is the psychology of success. It's the mindset. It might be 90%. It might be 99%. The thing is there are some skills that you need to learn. So I'm gonna just say 80%. So this stuff right here that you're gonna learn, that you're gonna apply, is gonna help you more than anything else, believe it or not. So let's jump into it, guys. If y'all are ready, drop the word ready in the chat box and we'll go ahead and actually start. All right, cool. Perfect. Let's do it. So check this out, guys. You know it's real when the slides come out, okay? So number one is, take a look at your results. Take a look at the results in the important areas of your life. It could be happiness, health, wealth, faith, family, relationships, whatever it is. I want you to take a deep look and think about your results. Everybody wants to change their results, but can we agree? I've never met someone who said, "Hey, my bank account is full," right? I never met, most people are maybe not in the shape that they want to be in. Everybody wants to change their results. Can we agree, though, that your results are a direct reflection of your actions? Yes or yes? Can we agree that your results are a direct reflection of your actions? And can we agree that your actions are a direct reflection of the state of mind that you're in? If you're in a fearful state, you're going to take completely different actions than if you're in a confident state. If you're in a happy, grateful state, you're going to be taking completely different actions than if you are in a depressed or hopeless state. The state of mind that you're in usually determines the actions that you take, which dictates the results that you get. So we call it state, actions, results. Everybody wants to change their results, but your results are a direct reflection of your actions. Your bank account is a direct reflection of the work that you put in, the things that you're doing or not doing. And that's a direct reflection of your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, the state of mind that you're in. So, this is one of the most important topics that we could actually talk about. I'm going to give you guys 4 reasons why your state is literally everything. Obviously, the first one I kind of gave it to you already, state, actions, results, but let's give you a couple more. Number two is your emotions are the quality of your life. Who cares what you go out there and do if you're not happy, if you're not fulfilled, right? That's why we do the things that we do. Why do you think people want to, you know, go out there and achieve their goals, achieve their dreams? And, you think you're going to be happy once you get to that level, right? You think that once you make a little bit more money, once you get to a certain level, once you get some recognition, once you get to that car or, get that watch or are able to do certain things, like you think that that's going to make you happier. But there are so many goals. Drop a 111 in the chat if you've hit your goals before. If there's a goal that you've set and you've hit. Drop a 111 in the chat if you've set a goal and you've hit a goal. There's many, many goals that you're living right now and you're still not happy, right? So your emotions equal the quality of your life. And you can do things out of a state of fear and frustration and being pissed off and sadness and hopelessness and depression. And we call that low vibration energy. You could do things from that state of mind, or you could do things from a place of being happy, being grateful, being confident, being certain, having fun, right? If you're not having fun doing this, then you're doing it wrong. Okay. If you're not having fun when you're on the charts, if you're not having fun when you're, talking to people about what it is that we do and growing our community, then you are doing it wrong. I have so much fun doing this. You know what else is fun? Winning is fun. So when you're like, winning, that's also a lot of fun. But the point is, we think that once we get to that goal, then we're going to feel a certain way. There's cause and effect, which is waiting for something outside of you to change how you feel on the inside. And then there's causing an effect, which is changing how you think and feel now, which changes everything around you. Now, number three is your state transfers to other people. When I give somebody a presentation on what it is that we do, I don't think about what they think. I know what they're thinking. I know what they're feeling because based off my energy, that's going to transfer to them. They're going to have 100% certainty when doing this because I have 100% certainty when I'm talking to them. They're going to be excited because I'm excited when I'm talking to them. They're going to feel a sense of urgency because I'm making this important. There's a success principle. It's called the law of state transference. It's whatever energy you have is contagious to the people around you. So this is the third reason why your state is everything. Your state, good or bad, is going to transfer to other people. Number four, your state determines what you attract. I'm sure you guys have heard the law of attraction that you attract what you are, who you are, whatever you think about most. Nothing in life is a coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. You are where you are today, 100% due to your past ways of thinking and feeling. And everything is energy, and all energy is equal. If you want to put it simply, like attracts like. If you're vibrating at a high frequency, if you have positive energy, then you're going to put that out there and you're going to attract positive people, positive places, positive things that are going to be in alignment with what it is that you want. If you are super negative all the time, complaining all the time, blaming, you know, all those low vibration energy emotions, and that's how you are, that's your emotional home. Everybody here has an emotional home. It's where you live most of the time. It's normal to feel bad, to feel sad, to feel all these feelings, but where do you live most of the time? Your state is going to determine what it is that you attract. In a high energy state, anything is possible. When you feel, you guys have felt this before. You guys have felt 100% certainty, 100% confident, very, very happy, extremely grateful. I know you guys have felt this way before. When you're in that state, can we agree? Anything is possible. You feel like you could do anything, right? Vice versa, when you're in that low vibration, low energy state, when you're tired, depressed, you know, frustrated, pissed off, hopeless, you can't do anything. You literally can't do anything with that. And so the question becomes this: how do I shift my state of mind? How do I shift my energy so that I can take the right actions and get the results that I want? That's what we're going to be talking about. If you guys have gotten a little bit of value from this so far, drop the word value in the chat. If you hate me, don't say anything. That's fine. I see Willie just staring at me. He doesn't want to type it. I'm messing with you, bro. I appreciate you for having your camera on. All right. So there's many different ways to change your state. There's three main ways to change your state. So number one is physiology. Number two is focus. And number three is action. We'll talk about each one of these. So number one is physiology. So physiology, the way you use your body, the way you move your body is the fastest way to change your state. I'll give you an example. There was a Harvard study by an individual. Her name was Amy Cuddy, and she wrote a book, and she talks about power poses. How literally just posing in a certain way completely changed your energy. If you were, bent over, looking down, breathing a certain way, then you would feel a certain way. But just by putting yourself in, you could imagine like a superhero position. It sounds kind of stupid, but it works. When you just moved your body differently, then you felt completely differently. Just by doing that, this was the study. Your testosterone increased by 20%, your cortisol decreased by 25%. Cortisol is the stress hormone. You're 25% less stressed. Your risk tolerance, basically where you would have taken action, where you wouldn't have taken action generally, increases by 33% just by changing the way that you move your body. You guys can go, check out that study by Amy Cuddy. Great. I think she made a whole entire book about it, if I am not mistaken. But the point is, if I am in a terrible mood, the fastest way to change my state is moving. There's a quote. It's like emotion is triggered by emotion. There's another one. It's your physicality is linked to your mentality. It's completely true. So the fastest way to completely shift my entire energy is by doing something like working out or going for a run, or I play soccer. Maybe it's playing some kind of sports. Breath work. I think that would, be considered physiology. Just by doing something like that, automatically you're going to go from where you are to vibrating at a much higher level to feeling much better, guys. So that's number one. Number two is focus. Whatever you focus on, focus equals feeling, guys. Now, is, the glass half full or is the glass half empty? Are you focused on the opportunity and the difficulty or the difficulty and the opportunity? Are you focused on, you know, the bad side or the good side? Whatever you focus on, you're going to feel, even if it's not true. Isn't that crazy? How many of you guys have ever been in a situation to where maybe, in your mind, you created a scenario where you thought someone was talking badly about you and you focused on that and then you felt bad and then you were in this negative state and then you've come to find out it wasn't even true. You know what's interesting? I feel like 90% of people's problems are in their head. It's their imagination. It's just not even reality. But whatever you focus on, you're gonna feel, even if it's not true. So there's three major questions. There's three things that you choose to focus on, that you have to make the conscious decision to focus on every single day. Number one is, do you tend to focus on what you have or what's missing? Let me ask you a question. How can you ever be happy if you're focused on what's missing in your life, no matter how much you actually have? Are you focusing on what you have and what you're grateful for and, you know, being just all the things that you have or the things that you don't have? It doesn't matter how much you have. If you're focused on what's missing, that's what you're going to feel. Next is, you focus on what you can control or what you can't control. Here's the thing, guys. You can't control the weather. You can't control what happens to your trades. You can't control if someone, rejects you when it comes to showing them this opportunity. You can't control 90% of things are outside of your control. So how do you think you're going to feel if you're focused on what you can't control? For me, the things that I only spend time thinking about things that I can control, which are my attitude and my work ethic. That's it. I can control my attitude because I can control what I'm focused on, right? The people who have the best attitude, they're the ones who are going to win. It's not what happens to you, it's what you do about what happens to you, right? There are people that are started out in this company that were in a much worse situation than you and I and are probably having more success than you and I. Why is that? Or there are also people who started out in a better position that are failing more than. Why is that? It's their attitude. And the second thing is just their work ethic. No one's going to put in the work for you, right? You don't have a boss here. No one's telling you what to do. Nobody calls me and says, "Yo, are you grinding today? Are you putting in work today?" You have to be self-motivated. You have to be a self-starter. You have to be the person that is doing what you need to do no matter what, because no one's going to do the work for you and no one's going to babysit you and no one is going to fire you. You can't get fired here, right? Sometimes I wish you could fire people. I mean, some people, they don't do anything. They're negative. They're just like, oh, yeah, maybe we could start firing people. I don't know. But do you focus on what you can control or what you can't control? The things that I can't control, I just, what's my advice for that? My advice for that is just to trust God. That's my advice for that. I think that everything happens for a reason. I think that there's a famous quote by Steve Jobs. He said, "You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards." So, for example, I didn't know how I was going to make multiple six figures and travel to 30 plus countries and become financially independent and help a lot of people. I had no idea how I was going to do that when I was a broke college student working as a valet parking cars. But as I had faith and as I took action, faith, action, faith, action. Eventually, I got to that point, and now I can look back and see how I did what I did. And maybe you're at a point right now where you have no idea how you're going to be successful. That's perfectly fine. Faith, action, that's all you need. Do you tend to focus on the future, the present, or the past? Most people are living in their past, right? They talk about the good old days. They talk about the past. They think that everything, I always make jokes. I just turned 30. We have a lot of people who are, 30, 40, 50, 60. I always make jokes since I just turned 30. I'm like, yeah, it's all downhill from here. Complete joke, by the way. I know for a fact that things are going to get better and better. I know for a fact that 2026 is going to be the best year yet for all of us on this call that take this seriously. But a lot of people genuinely believe that. They think that like their best days are behind them. Or they're focused on a past in the sense that negative things have happened to them before and they just dwell in that and they just dwell in the past. That's where people spend most of their time. Successful people, they live in the present moment and in the future. And it's a balance between the present moment and the future. What do I mean? What I mean is they have a vision for the future. They know exactly where it is that they're going, and they're taking action in the present moment every single day to close the gap from where they are to where it is that they want to be. Do you tend to focus on the future, present, or past? Are you focused on what you can control or what you can't control? Do you tend to focus on what you have or what's missing? Because this is going to determine how it is that you feel. Next, the third way to change your state is action. Because people think emotion triggers action, and that is true. If you feel good, it's easy for you to do good. That is true. But just as true, action triggers emotion. Let me prove it to you. Have you ever really not felt like going to the gym? It was the last thing that you wanted to do, but you went anyways and you took action anyways. And then how did you feel after? In the chat box, let me ask you a question. Have you ever not wanted to go to the gym? You really didn't want to go, and then you went and you had a great workout. How did you feel after that? Let me know in the chat box. You felt great. Exactly. Right? That's because, yes, emotion triggers action, but action triggers emotion. When you don't feel like doing it, whatever it is, it could be hopping on the live sessions, it could be we're doing the TikTok challenge. A lot of people fell off. It's only been like 3 days of the TikTok challenge. You already fell off. It could be whatever it is. You know what you're supposed to be doing, right? If you want to feel like it, or if you do feel like doing it, amazing. If you don't, amazing, because action triggers emotion. I can promise you, when you take action, you're going to feel a million times better after you actually did it, whatever it is. Stacking small wins. If you feel a little bit stuck right now, it's hard to really think about, you know, it's hard to think about millions of dollars or six figures or a full-time income online when you're struggling to pay your bills. I understand that. I'm telling you, if you saw where I was when I first got started, I was probably in a worse position than 95% of people on this call. So, what did I do? I stacked small wins. I'm going to give you guys the dumbest example ever, but this is a true story. So, my number one fear back in the day was talking to people. Isn't that interesting? Right? And I couldn't talk to one person, let alone a group of people, let alone 100 people or 1,000 people or whatever. And so my mentor said, yo, you got to just start small, just stack small wins, and those small wins will add up to a big win. If you don't feel like you could talk to somebody in person, if you don't feel like you can have a conversation with somebody because you're very, very naturally introverted, then why don't you just start by, don't even say hi to people, just open the door for people. I swear to you, that was like step one for me. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna hold the door open and be nice, and that's it. And then that was a small win for me. I know it sounds crazy. That's where I was. And then guess what? You do that a couple times and you're like, oh wow, I didn't die. That was pretty good. Maybe I'll say hi next time. And then, you just talk to a couple people, and then you talk in front of a group of people, and then eventually you talk in front of a dozen people, and then 100 people, and then 1,000 people. How do you do that? Stack small wins. Build momentum is kind of the same thing. Building momentum, uh, we'll just put it this way. If you guys have, when we were younger, we learned about the equation for momentum. The equation for momentum, if you remember this in like, I don't know if it was math class or science class or whatever, it's momentum equals mass times velocity. The momentum that you have in your life, I think that life is a game of momentum. I think that if you look at sports teams, you'll see a team dominating and then boom, the momentum will shift. Then all of a sudden, the other team's winning, and it's all about momentum. Momentum equals mass times velocity. Momentum equals mass, the number of whatever it is, times velocity, the speed in which you do it. I understood that the momentum that I had in my life was going to be a reflection of, let's just say, in the beginning, I was like, dude, how many live sessions can I hop on? How many trades can I take in a short period of time so that I can get very, very good? In terms of business, I understood that if I talked to a lot of people in a short period of time, then I would level up way faster. It's the problem is most people never really, they kind of just do a little bit here, do a little bit there, take it seriously on Monday, stop on Wednesday, and they never actually build momentum. But once you build momentum, it's actually crazy. You get to the point where it's like everything that you touch turns to gold. Every trade that you hit is hitting take profit. Every investment that you make is going in a positive direction. Everybody that you talk to is like saying yes, and they're interested in what it is that we do. Everything that you touch turns to gold when you build momentum, and that's just by taking massive action. And then flow state, uh, you know, you get into a flow. Action triggers flow state, right? What is flow state? Have you guys ever experienced it to where I'm trying to give you guys an example. Uh, I mean, it happens to me all the time when I'm like doing public speaking. Like I'll speak, right? And then I'll do this entire training and maybe, a lot of it wasn't even planned. And then I'll be like, dude, what did I even say at the end? It's like time just evaporates. It happens a lot in sports as well. Like you'll go out there, you'll play sports. And it's like you're so present to the moment. You guys know what I'm talking about? You're so present to the moment. You don't have any problems. You don't have any worries. You're just so locked in on the thing, whatever it is that you're doing. And that's what action does. When you take massive action, you get into this flow state. And you see so many people having so much success. They have it very, very quick. And it looks like they're not even trying. And you're like, how are they doing that? It's because they're taking massive action and they're getting into that zone. So, guys, if you shift your state, physiology, focus, action, using those three things, you could change your actions and get the results that you want. Now, this is the last slide. This is like the call to action. We never have calls like this without having some kind of call to action at the end because what's the point of being on a call if you're not going to actually apply the information and get better at the end of the day? So you want to create a daily routine to get yourself into that flow state, specifically in the morning. Obviously, if you want 2026 to be the best year of your life, you have to have good months. To have good months, you have to have good weeks. To have good weeks, you have to have good days. To have good days, you have to have, the morning is going to set you up for success in the day, oftentimes. What you do in the morning is typically going to determine, the rest of the day. And so having some kind of a routine to get yourself in a good mood, in a positive state of mind every single morning, that's going to set you up for success for the rest of the day. And that's going to set you up for success for the week, for the month, for the year. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat box. Also, um, My tip of advice for this is when it comes to the when it comes to your routine, I believe that everybody is a little bit different. What do I mean? Some people swear that every morning they have to work out, or they have to do meditation, or they have to do breath work, or they have to jump in the sauna, or they have to do you know, a cold plunge, or they have to do personal development, or they have to listen to music, or they have to read the Bible, or they have to pray, or they have to. There's a million different things out there. So I'm not going to be that person that's going to give you guys a one size fits all solution on what your morning routine should be. I'm just saying it doesn't have to even be that long. It could be 30 minutes. It could be 15 minutes. It doesn't even matter. But do something, whatever works best for you. Figure out what that thing is for you every single day, every single morning, so that you set yourself up to be in the right state of mind for the rest of the day. And if you do that, then you're going to be, operating at a high frequency for the rest of the day. You're going to be thinking positive, feeling positive, taking actions that are positive, and getting, guess what? The results that you want, guys. So, with that being said, that's going to be everything. And yeah, guys, that's our Flow State Friday call. And with that being said, this weekend we usually have a call on Sunday, but our next call is going to actually be on Monday. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. But yeah, our next call is actually going to be Monday night. We're not going to be doing a Sunday vision call like we usually do. We're going to be doing it on Monday. So just a heads up, that'll be the next call. All right, guys, appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great night. Talk soon. Bye for now.